those of the authors. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
My mistake.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is October 14th, the year of our Lord, 2022. And we have a special guest today, Scott. We're going to introduce him in a second, but we have also today Sean. Tyler's not here, excuse me. Tyler's not here. Sean is here. I'm so used to saying, that spot. I have it on my keyboard here. Anyway, I don't know where Tyler is. He's working. He's delivering pizza or something. Singing, yeah. So, Scott, can you introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit, who you are, where you are, what you've been doing, for all these years, and where you lifeguard out. That's the most important thing.
Well, hey, everybody. Good day. Scott Ruddle I live in London, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
Just north. If you think of London's kind of located about halfway between Detroit and Toronto.
Wow.
So if you're traveling across the border there. And lived here since 1998. And I'm a full-time paramedic in the city of London, working on the ambulance. And I moved to London, and I've been a lifeguard since all the way back in 1986. I got certified as a pool lifeguard. Around 96, I took my waterfront lifeguard certificate. And in 98, when I moved down here, I started working with the Grand Bend Beach Patrol on Lake Huron, one of the 5 Great Lakes. So that's just finished off summer number 25, working part-time on the beach patrol.
Congratulations.
When I was,
wow.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Other lifeguard stuff. Let's see. I was certified down in Costa Rica as a surf lifeguard. And back in 2008, I took the certification to do water park lifeguarding as well, dealing with the wave pools and slides and flume rides. I've worked with the Ontario branch of the Life Saving Society as a lifeguard instructor, a lifeguard examiner, water safety auditor. I teach the patrol rider course, which is how to use PWCs as a rescue platform. Competed in both regional, provincial, national, and international lifeguard competitions. One of the first international ones I was down in 2002, down in Daytona, Florida. Traveled to Italy in 2004 and to Australia in 2006 to compete in the Masters division.
Wow.
I like to say
Yeah.
there's 2 types of competitors out there. There's the athletes who are lifeguards, and then there's the lifeguards who try and be athletes for a day out there on the beach, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Swiftwater rescue training, and yeah.
That's a long list of
kind of
credentials, Scott. Damn.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a long career lifeguarding too, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
Certified as, but I've never actually lifeguarded. I've competed in the ocean environment, but I've never actually worked a lifeguarded beach down on the saltwater environment.
Still familiar.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So let's remember, you got 5 Great Lakes. Lake Superior is the biggest one. Big enough to take down, 730-foot ships. I mean, the Edmund Fitzgerald went down on a November storm. You got Lake Michigan, which is the only Great Lake which is entirely within the continental U.S. They both kind of flow into Lake Huron, which is made up of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, down through the Detroit River and into Lake Erie over Niagara Falls into Lake Ontario, and then you're out the St. Lawrence Seaway to the Atlantic, where I could launch a boat from my beach and end up down in the Jersey Shore if I wanted to.
We actually
Wow.
Googled that before you came on to say, I wonder if you could get a boat from the ocean, from the Lake
Oh,
Huron
yeah.
to the Atlantic.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to go through a hell of a lot of locks or a big portage around Niagara Falls.
So what are some
when you're
hazards
dealing-
that you guys have to, that you deal with while you're
yeah,
on,
so when
on
you
Lake
when
Huron?
you're dealing with a lake that is, I mean, if I took a shot from our beach on a northwest diagonal, I could end up over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and that's about 200 miles of wind fetch there. So if we get a northwest wind blowing on that angle, and waves are produced by wind strength, how long duration it's blowing, and over how much water it can blow, we can end up with like 7, 8 foot waves coming into our beach. And I think you guys made a mention in a previous podcast. The biggest difference, though, is it's not an ocean swell that kind of, I mean, they do stack up sometimes, but we're on windblown fetch. So we get a wave period of only about 4 or 5 seconds. So it's wave, wave, wave hitting you. We do have sandbars and different ridges that are out in the lakes. So yeah, we get lateral currents. We've got we call it a pier. I guess you guys would call it a jetty because it's a solid structure that goes down to the lake bed that kind of guards the mouth of the river towards the marina near our beach. So we get a rip current forming there, a structural rip current, but we'll get flash little rips that kind of burst through sections of the sandbar. We don't get like the traditional rips kind of between sandbars or coral heads or whatnot. Although you get those little, a couple or three waves pile up and then there's a great big flush of water going out and you get that little bit of a suck going on there. Wave days are something we can mitigate a lot for because, when they're big, we can start changing flag colors, kind of say, hey, let's keep you waist deep, no deeper than that.
Would it come in like a period, like it would only be like if it's windy for 2 to 3 hours, is that only when the waves come, or would it be all day?
So as soon as the wind stops generating those waves, then the waves are going to start dying down. So then you're going to see the whole, and if we're doing a 6 to 8 hour shift down there on the beach, and let's say the wind blew all night, but it was calm in the morning, we'd have the 4 and 5 footers coming in up until about noon, 4 to 3 till about 3 in the afternoon, and then by the end that we're coming into the end of our shift, we'd have maybe 2 foot swells just kind of rolling in the remnants of what's going on.
Wow. What's the temperature of the water? Say in the summer and in winter, like what's the range of your temperature?
So we have a swim season pretty similar to you, somewhere around the 20th of May, which is our what they call the May 2 for the Victoria Day holiday weekend. That's kind of when cottagers start showing up in the area. The water is still probably only about 58, 60 degrees Fahrenheit then. Throughout the course of the summer, it can heat up till, probably about 76.
Oh, so about what we get then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then it'll stay warm into the fall, which is really neat
wow.
because now in the fall temperatures, the water can still be into December. I've been surfing in December in full wetsuit and hoodie and everything, but the water's probably about 4 degrees. Although the air, I'll have like ice pellets hitting me in the face.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
kind of a funny situation.
Now, do you get like right now we have the bunker, which is Manhattan. They're going south, and you got whales, work a lot of stripers and bluefish. You guys got, what do you have? What kind of wildlife you have in the water there?
So wildlife in the water, because we get ocean tankers that have come up through the St. Lawrence Seaway, they've introduced invasive species. We have zebra mussels. That's kind of one of the bigger hazards to beach patrons, just because the sharp shells, they can cut your
Right,
feet if
they
they're.
won't take your leg off or anything like that, though.
No, 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 nothing that big. I mean,
like when you work out, swimming in the water, you're not worried about getting, hit by a shark.
oh no,
Yeah,
no,
okay, that's what I was.
no freshwater sharks. I mean, and even the big fish that they have. I mean, there's the odd story of like a lake pike or a muskie coming up and going after somebody's toes, but
You guys get jellyfish and stuff like that, or no?
nope, no jellyfish.
Oh wow. Okay.
So here's the neat thing: fresh water, we're limited to just, trout, lake, pickerel, different, and they're still commercial fish. I mean, like we get freshwater lake sturgeon, which is
Right,
still
okay,
an
right.
active fishery and stuff, and they're huge, but they're
Yeah.
bottom feeders just on stuff. But the biggest difference that I can say between the ocean and the freshwater environment is when I go swimming in the ocean, I usually float somewhere around my collarbone,
Yeah.
like I'll just
Yeah.
because of my buoyancy in the salt water.
Right.
I'm in the fresh water, I'm in the
Yeah.
skinny water, I'm floating just below my
Yeah.
lip.
Yeah.
So when you're faced with all of those same currents, rip currents, a shorter wave period, and now you've got less flotation, we get people who are competitive swimmers and, oh yeah, I was an ocean lifeguard and I'm out here. I had a friend come up and visit me from Australia. The first thing he did was walk out to the shoreline, dip his fingers in it and taste it and go, it's not salty.
Yeah.
And then get out and try and swim in it and go,
Yeah.
man, I can't throw anything. I just feel like I'm in thin air here. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fresh
The big,
water. Deal with it.
yeah.